Alright, let me change the settings real quick.
before.
Do, 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 do. Wait, what happened to it? What? Nope. Okay, okay. Yeah, that was dope. All right. Japan's new problem: salaryman grift by Pa Paahtis. Yeah. So basically, if I got it right, people are acting as if they're salarymen, but they're not. For I guess clout. I'll see.
In the past few months,
We'll
there's
see.
been this new trend that has taken over the internet. They're called salaryman videos, and what they do is that they portray the quote unquote real life of Japanese salarymen and the struggles they go through in their everyday lives. To say that these videos are popular would be an understatement because there's so many channels and they're pushing so much content that they've completely overtaken many people's YouTube feeds. And not only that, most
Surprising.
of these videos are getting hundreds of thousands and even very often millions of views,
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
crazy.
essentially probably the biggest YouTube grift there is right now. And now that you've clicked on this video, even if you haven't seen them before, trust me, your YouTube recommendations will be filled up with these Salaryman videos the moment you refresh your YouTube homepage.
I hope that does not happen.
If you're wondering
He,
these Salaryman videos the moment
I will blame him for this.
you refresh your YouTube homepage. If you're wondering what these videos are all about, well, they're basically misery porn about how cruel the life is for the average Japanese businessman, since they all have to work for 12, 13, 14, 15.
Okay, now it's not that surprising because, um, like months ago, it was pretty popular to watch like bed rotting content to the point where people are like bed rots like drifting, which was so obvious because they have like all this fancy setup. Oh, getting ready to bed rot. Meanwhile, she's in makeup. Her place looks so nice and stuff like that. Video while actual bed rotting, bro, is so disgusting. Just trash everywhere.
16, 17 hours a day, and some having to work so hard that they become either homeless or sick. Some even becoming both from having to work so much. This has caused people all over the internet to ask the same question: are these videos real? And as an expert in YouTube grifting, I'm going to answer exactly that. And the answer is they're fake. But whoa, 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 before you click away, just wait a minute, okay? Because that
Well,
isn't
wherever
even the
go.
interesting part. The interesting part is that not only are they fake, but people are also donating thousands of dollars to each of these
So not just clout, also money, of course.
fake salarymen. And not only have I figured out how these videos are fake, but also exactly how much money they are bringing in. So the way these videos work is that they're supposed to showcase
So it's not just fake, it's a scam too.
the real life hardships of a Japanese salaryman, which most of the time seems to consist of eating ramen, counting your money, and complaining about your life. Which has made many people to think that all of these videos are filmed by either a content farm or even a single person, since all of them are faceless and
Mm,
voiceless, with similar titles and thumbnails, and the only thing we're getting from these
yeah,
people
that
are
would
the
be smart.
subtitles at the bottom that are generated by using ChatGPT. The channels are carbon copies of each other because, well, why change the grift if it is working so well? Where the
Yeah.
trick is to make a fake video to try and get sympathy by coming up with stories about how much money they're making and how much they're working. And I have some proof how far these guys are willing to go to lie to their audience, but we'll get to that soon. And naturally, after these people see how all these salarymen have live zero, as indicated by their thumbnails,
Like,
they do the right thing that all of us should do and donate thousands of dollars to them. Slavery, slavery,
hey,
slavery. Working 15 hours a day for 800 euros a month. Seeing how humbly you live really makes me appreciate all I have. These so-called payday videos especially are the most common way for these supposed salarymen to fish for donations, because it gives them the perfect opportunity to pretend like they're hardworking and responsible with their money, which they all do by dividing money into these envelopes so they can showcase at the end how little they're left with after each month, which is the perfect way to beg for donations.
bro.
All of these videos also follow the same subtitle formula where they have about, I don't know, 2 or 3 lines of complaining about their lives, like, let's say, I have to work so much, I have no money, I'm depressed. But then the fourth line is something slightly positive, like, I don't know, let's say, oh, but this ramen that I'm eating, it's so delicious. This kind of gives the audience the idea that these are humble people who, even though they have such horrible, miserable lives, they're still able to enjoy the small things in their everyday lives, like eating the ramen that they're eating, which makes their audience want to help them by donating money to these hardworking, humble, but fake salarymen. Now, some of you might be thinking that I'm just being jealous, and that is true. I am very much jealous, and you'll understand why once we get to the amount of money that these channels
Yeah, of course, I'd be jealous. Like, bro, I want to make money too.
are bringing in every month. And when I say this is the biggest grift in YouTube, I mean it, because if we look at these videos, for example here, let's see, 1.3 million views, 200k, 1.3 million, 3.3 million, we go down, 400k, 1 million, 600.
I still think crypto is the biggest scam. Yeah, I would say yes. I'd say crypto is the bigger one. But I guess it didn't really die out. A lot of people still use crypto, it's just less popular.
100k, 1.5 million, and let's pick this channel for example. Let's pick this channel as our case study. If we look at here, this guy has made 8 videos, so not too much, but already in 8 videos he has gained over 6.4 million
Yes.
views. And if we pick one of his videos, for example this one where he claims to have worked 17 hours, it shouldn't take long for us to start finding some inconsistencies. The video starts with the battle-hardened and overworked, to my eye, seemingly about 20-year-old salaryman waking up and complaining about his life. He then puts on his confirmation suit that he ironically calls his salaryman cosplay and leaves for work. All we're allowed to see though is him complaining about how miserable and overworked he is, because the work itself is never shown and we'll only get back to him after his supposed work day is over, once we join him for some 1 a.m. ramen. Now, in his video, he claims his 17-hour workday is finally over around 1:46 a.m., which leaves me wondering, why does the coffee shop that closes at 10 p.m. behind him is full of people? Now, some of you might be asking, why am I tearing a new asshole for this kid for lying on a YouTube video, pretending that he's working more than he actually is? And well, that's because he's not only lying about the amount of work he does, because he's also lying about his mental condition, his monetary situation. You know, he's
Of
counting
course.
his supposed paycheck on the camera, pretending like, oh, I have no money for anything, my life is miserable, trying to bait people into donating money for him, and, well, it is working. If you scroll down on his videos and look at the comments section, you'll see that people are donating thousands upon thousands of dollars for this guy, and the lengths that he goes to keep this grift up is actually quite impressive. In this video, he claims to be working overtime at his office while everyone else has already gone home, looking out the window at the people outside enjoying
They didn't rent a
themselves, while
place,
he
bro.
has to stay at work and do overtime because otherwise he wouldn't have money to buy food or pay his rent. He then claims that he has worked so hard and so late that he has completely missed all of the trains and he has no other option but to stay at work and make a makeshift bed out of the office chairs and use his jacket as a pillow. Aw, what a hard-working young man. It does make me feel quite bad to see that he has to
It's funny. This one time, I don't remember if it was at a friend's house, but I remember this time, where basically a lot of us in one house. Then basically I used my, wait, was it? Yeah, I think it was, I don't remember them. Yeah, it was like after a party. Yeah, and the one, like a lot of us in in one house at night, and I used my jacket as a pillow basically because there was not enough pillows. I totally forgot like when this happened, but yeah, I remember I did use my jacket as a pillow once. It was not good. My neck was so painful in the morning.
work this hard and this late, and the only thing he can afford to eat is cup ramen because otherwise he couldn't pay his rent, and he couldn't even go home and he had to sleep at the office. Guys, I think we need to help him out with a little donation. But before we do so, let's check out
Bad,
a little something. So from
bad.
his footage we can see that
Oh,
his
it's not a ad.
supposed
Okay.
workplace is right next to Nagameguro station in a building that's opposite of a Tsukemen store, which seems to be this building right here. I think he seems to be on the 4th floor, so if we put all of these into Google, e-office Nagameguro, rental office spaces, would
I
you look
knew
at
it.
that? Would you look at that? So to keep the appearances and trick his audience, he went as far as renting a rental office just so he could pretend that it's his workplace. Didn't take too much to find this, and I think it's this. Room B, for 8 people. Yep, this is exactly the room he was in. Yeah, 30 minutes, 990 yen. So probably he paid at least like, I don't know, 2000 yen. So, at least he had to pay 15 bucks to film his fake video, but there we go. There we go. There we go. So
Yeah,
why
but
do
the
I have a
money he will receive afterwards totally covers that.
problem with the salaryman trend? Well, while he's only renting offices to pretend to work overtime, other people are going as far as pretending to work so hard that they get sick, and some are even pretending to be homeless. I mean, look at this guy for example. He claims that in order to keep his job, he has to work overtime every day without any extra pay, because the boss who's taking all the credit wants to get promoted himself. Not only this, he claims he has hospital bills he has to pay, so he cannot quit his job, and on top of all of this drama, he's also homeless. Feeling weak and dizzy for not having anything to eat for days, he goes to watch the cat in the 3D display in Shinjuku because seeing the cat is his only moment of enjoyment he has in his life, because even the $1 yakitori is too expensive
Bro,
for him, and all he is left with is the aroma and the hope that people believe this obvious bullshit and donate money to him. And all these people are doing this while they're pretending to count their paychecks on camera, pretending like they have no money for anything else but the cheapest things they can afford. And they're all doing this just to appear to be sympathetic so that people would donate to them, and sadly, it is working. And let's not forget, the guy we just checked, for example, isn't only making thousands of dollars from the donations people are giving to him, but he's also making literally, no joke, tens of thousands of dollars from the AdSense he gets from the videos. So
yeah,
now
yeah.
you can probably
Just from ads.
understand why everyone and their mother in Japan is trying to join in on this grift, trying to one up each other with the hours they're working or their general situation. And so far, there seems to be no end to this trend because for whatever reason, people are actually believing in this shit. This might surprise you.
People believe so much, bro. It's honestly so disappointing how easy it is to trick people. Like Yeah, like for example, in Africa, in Ghana, my home country, there was this guy, bro, that convinced like thousands of people to basically give him all their money. So, saying it's for God and stuff, and bro, like what's happening with my model? Like I'm sure anyone watching this video would see through it so easily, bro. Like it, like honestly, that guy was not trying that hard at all. It was so easy to see through it, but there's some people that fall for it. Yeah. Hold on, I have to recalibrate this thing. I think I might have to. Oops. There you go.
But I actually think there would really be no problem with this situation if these videos were fake and that was it. You know, there was no other motivator or motivations behind it, like the
That's
money,
like a worse.
because I don't know. I don't like fake videos. I don't want there to be fake videos, but I'm willing to give a little bit of rope and say a fake video is not the end of YouTube. Like internet is full of fake pranks, fake this. People say Mr. Beast is fake, this is fake, that is fake. But if these were just fake videos of them pretending that, I don't know, they work longer or something, maybe someone might find it interesting to watch this fake story, fake video. Like, who am I to say that it's not entertainment for someone? But the problem becomes there where they actually start kind of pretending that no, this is actually real. I'm actually really suffering. My life is actually really bad. I am homeless. I have no money.
Oh,
My
that's where they
parents
get
are
the money,
sick.
bro.
This
That's
is
how
and
they
that.
get the money.
I need medicine for my daughter. And then they're kind of
They need to convince the viewers, right? That's how they get money. Well, it was a scam from the beginning.
counting their money on camera and like, oh no, I have no money. What can I do? And then, like, you know, hint, hint, there's the donation box. Because many people, even like out of these people, many of them have like not only the YouTube donations, but other donations they link to the descriptions. And, you know, I'm willing to give rope, but that's too much. We're getting way too fucking far. Like, th- no, no. So why does this work? Why do people believe this shit? Since I've already told this many times in other videos before, I'll try to keep it brief. Pretty much after the Second World War, the country has been a gateway to Asia and thus Orientalism and mysticism. And through that, people have kind of learned to love the idea of Japan being this mystical place where everything is so different, which is why, for example, any movie that takes place in Japan needs to have that Dance with Wolves bullshit where the main character learns to live like the Japanese and becomes the last
Yeah,
samurai. So,
yeah.
like many other things in Japan, even the working life has been made into this mythical thing where people sleep on their desks, or only leave after the boss leaves, or even work so hard
Thing in some other country. Thing in Japan.
that they eventually die. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there's no truth to any of these things we've heard about the work life in Japan, because, well, obviously it's a bit different, but it's not what these guys are selling, okay? I guess the best way to explain this is that while these are real concepts, they are kinda blown out of
I don't
proportion on the
expect.
internet. I'm old enough to remember when sushi was still this mythical thing that people whispered about how, oh, did you know that the Japanese eat raw fish every day, and if you cut the fish wrong, it's poisonous and it might kill you, so you need to train 30 years to be able to cut this fish. And
Um,
then, you know, today sushi is like kids food and finger food and like it's just sushi. What I'm trying to say is that until people know better, they're
oh yeah, mm, isn't the guts of like any fish poisonous? Because I'm pretty sure for hake you have to also like remove the guts. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what I'm talking about.
always desperate to believe the most exciting version of reality because it simply makes for a better story. And I feel like we're kind of
Yeah,
going through that same cycle we went with sushi 20 years ago with Japanese work life today. And since today most people don't know the reality and are very curious about how do actually these Japanese salarymen live, they naturally gravitate towards these videos But sadly, these people then abuse that and exploit it and scam money out of their audience. There's a reason why these videos are made in English and for an English audience, because this kind of shit wouldn't fly for a Japanese audience because they
Yeah,
knew immediately that this is bullshit. Now, are all of these guys scammers and lying and begging donations or whatever? I don't know, I cannot say for sure. I haven't checked every single channel out there, but at this point, I've seen enough of them that I feel like, what I'm saying is I'm
most of
calling a
them.
spade a spade. The most surprising thing in all of this, for me at least though, is the fact that these videos were able to blow up in the first place. And sure, I understand, I already said that I get it that the idea of being able to see how salarymen live sounds enticing for a Western audience, but also at the same time, in most of them, quite literally, nothing happens. And most of these videos are nothing but shaky phone footage with subtitles at the bottom where people complain about their lives. Which makes me think, maybe I could become a salaryman too. In the past,
Great video. I didn't know about this at all. Maybe because I don't fall for this. I did find it strange there was an unusually high number of these types of videos. Yeah, I never got recommended them. Being for Europe, being for Japan, yeah. That's so sad because they make the actual overworked, exploited workers in Japan look fake. Yeah. Mm, I don't like that. Oh, yeah, let me subscribe to this guy. Hey, great video.